Hello, everyone. So we're back again with the challenge, Ride or Dies, season 38, episode 17. All right. So we're finally at the final. Who's the last team to get removed? It was Fessy and Mariah. Oh boy. They just couldn't balance. And they're out. So here we are, new episode. And as I already said, my predictions for how these finals are going to go, the winners are going to be between, it's going to be between Devin and Tori and Nani and Bananas. Like I said, Horacio could do pretty good. Him and Olivia could do pretty good, but puzzles is probably going to be their breaking point. They're just not going to be able to do puzzles well, and they don't strategize very well. He's very strong. She just kind of support. She doesn't really think outside the box or do anything extra when it comes to the game. And he's very like straight ahead, so he doesn't have that mental agility that Jordan does. So I don't see him winning. And as far as Jordan and Anissa, no way. Anissa is a whole anchor. She's always been an anchor. And even in this episode, she was talking about people always underestimate me and all this stuff. Like, no one's ever underestimated Anissa. They've only ever overestimated her. I don't know why. She's lazy. She's lazy. And she'll never win being that lazy. And she'll never stop being lazy because they keep inviting her back. And she doesn't look like she ever prepped. Like she's just shows up every challenge and she's surprised there's going to be a freaking physical portion. Like, what do? You don't prep. Anyways. So I don't expect much suspense from this. So there was a bunch of nonsense. There was a bunch of motorcycle porn with TJ showing up. I don't know why this show trying to make TJ interesting. I don't know. He is not. He's a plank of wood that giggles sometimes. I think I think he spends so much time just waiting around for stuff to happen that he gets visibly bored. He doesn't look like he's really into this job. Like, he doesn't play up like he's excited to do this job. He's just like, I'm here for a paycheck, and occasionally something funny happens. It's weird. It's a weird energy, and it's kind of off-putting. Yeah, so just either get rid of him or stop showing so much unnecessary shit of him doing nonsense. All right. So TJ shows up and he tells them the final is going to take 100 hours. And I'm like, whoa, that's a lot of endurance. Jordan and Anissa is not going to win. 100 hours. That's a lot of time for a fat chick to fall out. Just saying. So there's no chance of them winning. So it's down to 3 teams that can possibly win. And yeah, and if it's 100 hours, there's going to be a lot of stations and a lot of puzzles, which means that's a huge advantage for Devin and Tori. They're going to be the favorite to win in my mind. All right, so they all jumped in a goddamn vehicle and they drove out, and there was a bunch of talking. I couldn't care less about. Horacio was bigging up. This is the thing I hate about these shows, right? Is they spend a lot of time bigging up the women's egos. And it's just like, why? They don't support you when it gets hard. Like Olivia's always talking about how Horacio folds under pressure and all this nonsense. She never takes accountability for the shit that she did. I remember he's still beating himself up about getting mad about the mini final that they did, not even accounting for the fact that she was holding him up. she kept quitting and she kept yelling at him to do things at her pace. And then she started bitching right afterwards that he can't handle whatever the hell. Like he's freaking out. It's like you wanted him to do things at your pace. So he gave up trying to push you. And then when you saw him giving up trying to push you, now you're complaining because you think he just can't handle something. She never took accountability for that, and he's bigging her up. Anissa, lazy as shit, holding Jordan back, but she always has something to say about Jordan's faults. Nani, constantly bitching about freaking Bananas not taking anything seriously. She's always like, oh, well, can you be serious? All this shit, yelling at him, all this stuff. And then when it comes down to it, she's the one holding him back. And when he's trying to push her forward, she's bitching and complaining about what he's doing and how it's stressing her out and all this shit. Even when they had that goddamn elimination, he was trying to encourage her and she told him to stop helping because he was annoying her. Because her own personal failures are frustrating her so much, she doesn't want to hear shit from him. So, but when he's not taking anything seriously, then now it's a problem now. I hate hypocrisy. I hate it. I don't give a shit who's doing it. I hate it. I think the only one that I can sort of tolerate doing that nonsense is Tori, because at least she shuts the fuck up when she realized she was wrong. At least she does that. She doesn't admit she was wrong, but she does at least shut the fuck up when she realized she's wrong. So that shit is annoying. So that's why that whole shit where they were having conversations in the car was annoying the shit out of me. It's just bullshit. So they come to the first little challenge that they have, and I don't know. It's just, so this is it. They're all going to be on this stationary bikes, right? And they have to clock in, I think, 100 kilometers together as a team. So if one partner does 60 and the other one does 40, then that's pretty much 100. So they have to do 100 kilometers together. I think the first ones to finish was Horacio and Olivia. Because Horacio was the fastest guy, and he made up a lot of the time. So he was the first one to finish, and they got a number code after that. I don't know what the number code was for. Was it for a lock? Oh yeah, it was for a lock. So after they finish, they get a number code for the lock to a trunk that they have to open and then get their tent out that they have to now build the tent to go sleeping in. And I was just like, this could all be skipped. Like you could edit all that nonsense out. I don't even, because that has no bearing on the actual competition at all. No one gets a boost in time or whatever the fuck. It was nonsense. It was a waste of time. Like it doesn't, like I don't even feel like going through who did what and who was the first and what, because it mattered little in the grand scheme of things. Like, why would you do this? Why would you do this if it doesn't matter? Everyone could just take their time as long as they don't quit. It's like you promise 100 hours of competition and a bunch of it is filler and a lot of it is going to be sleeping. So like what was the point of saying 100 hours? It's just fluff? Because all the actual competition is going to take maybe altogether 6 hours, and then just a bunch of filler in the middle. What the? It was stupid. And they, oh my god, they did this whole goddamn scene where there were like close-ups on fucking Horacio's abs and oh god, turn my stomach, man. Just like, why are you doing this? Does a lot of women watch the show? I guess maybe a lot of women watch the show. I don't know, but I did not need to see any of that. God, that was nonsense. I skip a lot of this. They got their tents. They built their tents, and then oh my shitty Shitty Bang Bang. Oh my God. She's just built different. Like, and you know she's holding in some of it because there's a little thing wrapped around there. She's just looking all kinds of pregnant. Just not the way you want to show up to a competition like this. So there was a little bit more TJ on a vehicle porn going on, and he was riding this thing this time instead of the motorcycle that he did in the beginning. And I just didn't need to see it. It was so pointless. It doesn't look badass at all. TJ's an old man. I understand he used to do what's it, BMX or some shit. He used to do some hardcore shit back in the day, but now he's a decrepit, Grinch-ish old man that kind of known for some shit that he doesn't do anymore. God. All right, so they had to run to the next station, and fucking TJ rode in front of them on that goddamn quad bike. And of course, Jordan and Anissa is in last place. So Jordan is like, let's cut through the field to get ahead of our, of our competition. So just show you an image of it here. So as you can see, everyone is ahead of them going that way. So he decided, let's cut through the field here and make up some time because your slow fat ass is holding me back. And so they cut through the field. He gets to the other side and he's waiting on her. And she trips a little bit in the leaves and starts complaining that she rolled her ankle. And I'm like, I don't believe that shit at all. Because she did a similar thing in previous goddamn episode that I saw her, not this season, but in previous season, she's done the same shit to have an excuse to fucking walk because she's lazy as fuck. Instead of just people knowing she's doing it because she's lazy, she makes up an excuse. She's like, I'm hurt, or whatever the hell. She's done that before, so I don't fucking believe it. In this, she's literally hobbling slowly through the fucking brush and somehow rolled her ankle after a hop. She hopped into a rolled ankle. So now she's walking. And she's walking really slow. And Jordan's pissed off. And he's trying to push her to walk faster, but she ain't going to do that. Nope. She's like, I already secured my excuse. There ain't no way you're going to get me to do more than I already planned to do. And she was somehow trying to blame him for the reason that she rolled her ankle. Is just like, you couldn't do something as simple as running through just a little bit. Like, even the road itself wasn't that much better than where they were running through. It wasn't hills and freaking rocks everywhere. It's just a bunch of leaves on the ground. And she couldn't make it through that. They have a whole final, hours to go, and she couldn't make it through that little thing. And it's just like, why do they keep having her back? She is useless. She takes up space. They could at least give another chance to what's that chick's name? Desi, whatever the hell. That girl that got screwed over by freaking what's that dude? The dude that quit in the last season, where he's just like, he called himself the Meow Meow or whatever. That useless piece of shit that couldn't swim, and he panicked and he quit, and she got eliminated because of it. She should have gotten a chance instead of Anissa, because Anissa is just a waste of space every single time. She will never win. She will never win because she never tries to win. She just likes showing up. All right, so after that run, they get to another station where they have to throw bolas right here at these targets out there. And every time they score, they then get to take one of these goddamn cups off their little barrel there, and they can put it on any of their opponent's barrels. So at the end, after 10 bolas, then they have to drink whatever is left, whatever amount of cups are left on their barrel. I think it's like fish guts or whatever the hell splattered in milk. I don't know what disgusting shit they have to drink, but that is the station that they're at. And I think after a couple back and forths, Devin made a deal with Bananas that they won't sabotage each other anymore because they were just going back and forth and they weren't advancing. So they make that deal. And then Jordan, because him and Nisa is the slowest and no one's worried about them, hardly anyone was putting any cups on their stuff. So he was just going around putting it on other people's, and he was just like having fun with it. What didn't make any sense. They were better off making a deal with Horacio and Olivia because they obviously don't understand the game and they don't understand how to make a deal. So they could have done that with them and sabotaged some of the teams that are already ahead of them. But they didn't do that. They were just throwing it wherever, having fun with it. And Horacio and Olivia end up the ones with the most goddamn cups at the end. And then Olivia, dumbass, somehow, when she's throwing the bola, she somehow held on to the carabiner, the little part that's attaching the bola, like to the freaking elastic band in the middle of it. She held on to it. She put her finger in the middle of it, right? So that she can grip it better. And she threw it away. And her finger got caught in the little metal part that she was using to hold the goddamn thing. And as she threw it away, because the bowl is kind of heavy, it ripped out the skin off her finger. And she's just gushing blood all over the place. So there she is. You can see a bunch of blood on her face. That's all from her finger. And they're like patching her up right now. What the fuck is she wearing? So they're patching her up right now because she just lost skin on her finger because she's an idiot. Like, if you knew you were trying to throw away a thing that you were holding on to, why would you lock your finger into it? Like she did a freaking Chinese finger trap on the thing she's trying to throw away. I don't know. So she's bleeding all over the place, and she must be a hemophiliac or something because she was a gusher, like blood everywhere. And so the first ones to finish was Tori and Devin. They finished first. They then went on to drinking their drinks, and Tori, apparently she's a vegan. So Devin had to drink all of the drinks. I'm like, the fuck? This isn't about nutrition. This is a competition. This isn't even stuff that people would eat. Just drink the goddamn drink. She's a vegan. So she's not drinking any of it. So he drinks all of the cups. Lucky for them, they only had like what four cups, and Olivia and Horacio had like 8 cups. So they were lucky in that respect. So they finished first, and the next ones to finish, I believe, was Bananas and Nani. They finished second. Then it was Horacio and I think Horacio and Olivia finished after that, and they had to drink all 8 of those freaking cups. Uh, then, but then freaking names, god damn it. Jordan and Anissa, then they finished, but they had less cups, so they finished drinking before the other group. So freaking Olivia, Olivia and Horacio ended up being all the way in the back because stupidity, and also she freaking lost a lot of blood because of stupidity. So then after that, they had to run to the next station, and the next station is a huge endurance test because they then have to run a kilometer to get to the next station. Then from there, they have to then carry tires, and on each tire, there's the names of the house guests that have been eliminated already. So they have to carry all those tires one at a time, a whole kilometer back to the next station, and then arrange it in the order of people that got eliminated. So that shit took a while. But luckily, Devin and Tori had a huge lead, and they were able to maintain that lead, especially with Anissa walking the whole way. And Olivia just lost a lot of blood, and she wasn't, you know what I mean? She kept up, but she definitely they definitely slowed down a lot, because not only was she not making the goddamn targets with the bola, she also ripped her finger off. And they had to drink like 8 goddamn cups of that milky nonsense. So they took a huge penalty because of that. So it just ended up becoming a race between Devin and Tori and Bananas and Nani. I think there was a little bit of conflict where some people couldn't remember who got eliminated in what scenario, and this is a perfect example of Tori also being a hypocrite, but at least learning to shut the fuck up. Where she was bitching at Devin to just keep moving, because apparently she memorized all the names of the people that got eliminated, and he wanted to look at the tires and see how it was organized, and so she's bitching at him to keep going, and he's just like, all right, whatever. He follows her along, and then they come back, and he's looking at the tires, and he's like, that doesn't make any sense. This is not the right order, and he had to correct her. And after he corrected her, he made fun of her. He made fun of her. She's like, oh, she was like, I have this all written down in my journal, whatever the hell. And he's like, oh, you had this written in your journal. He made fun of her, and she shut up. She didn't say nothing. She was wrong, and she didn't say nothing. And I'm like, I appreciate that. I appreciate humility in someone when they know they're goddamn wrong. The other ladies haven't seen that shit. Just haven't seen it. Anissa is still bitching about, oh, I can't move fast enough. Nope, still blaming Jordan for the fact that she was literally trying to blame Jordan for the fact that she rolled her ankle, and she was like, I can't run. And he's like, well, I wish you did some running before the season started. No shit. Finally, he's saying it. Because before he's trying to be positive and trying to say, oh, we will be a great team and all this stuff. Why did you partner up with her? She is trash. It just amazes me. It literally amazes me. So the first ones to finish the whole tire thing, where they had to organize the names, was, of course, the ones with the lead, which was Devin and Tori. They finished it, and they moved on to the next station. A little bit more goddamn... See, a little bit more goddamn what's the name on a goddamn vehicle porn going on. I just can't. TJ, like, enough with TJ. He's not doing anything. Stop. They're still doing it. They're still doing TJ on a goddamn vehicle porn. So the next station after the tires thing, like, Devin and Tori has a huge lead. They're finished, and everybody else is still struggling. Got a whole bunch of tires to go. They finish, they go to the next station, and the next station is a slingshot. Slingshot to the target. Each partner has to hit the target once. All right, and you see it right here. All right, so this is see the slingshot there. There's the target over there. They have to kind of hit the target once. Each. Devin goes first. He hits the target on the first try. And he was already good at this. I remember they had a team thing where they had to hit the targets with the slingshot, and he helped out. He helped out Jordan because Jordan was on his team, and then his teammates have him help out freaking Fessy afterwards because Fessy couldn't get it done. So he was pretty good at this. He got it in the first try, hit. Then he helped out Tori, and she got in the first try after he helped her, and they hit like back to back. No wasting time. They finished that station, make up a huge amount of time, and they got a chance to sabotage another team. So since they make that deal with Bananas and Nani, they didn't go and sabotage them, even though I think they should have, because that's the team closest to beating them. They decided to sabotage Olivia and Horacio, which is going to be useless and a waste of time, but we'll get to that. So they sabotage them. Then Bananas and Nani show up. I don't think around that point where Bananas was kind of getting frustrated, and Nani, because Nani wasn't moving fast enough, and she was bitching. She bitched when he wasn't being serious. She's bitching when he's being serious. Just an example of the hypocrisy and the lack of humility from these ladies. It is remarkably annoying. All right. So, goddamn. So Bananas and Nani eventually got to the target, and they start shooting. Bananas, I think they were there for a long time, just missing back and forth until eventually Horacio and Olivia shows up next to them, and Bananas finally hits a target, and then Nani hits a target, and they finally got to move on. I don't think they got a chance to sabotage anybody because they were like the second ones. So they got to move on. Horacio hits the target on his first try. Because they got sabotaged, they have to hit the target twice each. He hits the target on his first try. Olivia goes, her finger is broken. So, and that's her, I think that's her right hand, and she's right-handed. So it was a little bit difficult for her to navigate around that. I think she probably should have just used her left hand, but she didn't do much of that. She goes, she misses, and then he goes, he hits again. He gets those two targets that he needs. Now he has to wait for her to hit the two targets. And she goes again, uses her broke finger, and it starts bleeding again. Ridiculous. She tries to switch her hand. She switched to the left hand. She goes back to the broke finger again. She keeps missing. And then it got to the point where she was basically just holding, she held the slingshot back, and she was just holding it in one hand with her broke finger, and she was holding it, and I can see the ball basically barely in the slingshot, and it's just hanging down it's just hanging down off the little pouch slingshot thing, and the camera is zooming in on it, and I'm like, what the hell? Why are they doing this? And she's holding it with a broke finger, and she didn't have enough dexterity with it, so she flicks down. Instead of just letting go, she flicks down the slingshot that already has all that tension in it. The ball swings into the freaking pouch, and as it's going forward, the momentum pulls it, because it was hanging off the edge of the pouch. The momentum pulls it back into the pouch. It goes forward, doesn't slide out of the pouch to hit the target. It comes right back and hit her in the face. Broke her nose. And she's gushing blood. I mean, I don't know if she was looking for an excuse to get a nose job, but she messed herself up. Like, look at this. Like, this is a fraction of the amount of blood she was gushing. Like, her shoes were all wet. Like, The ground was soaking, like so much blood. I, I just, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Broke her finger because of stupidity, broke her nose because of stupidity. Uh, I just don't know. How? How? So she was medically evacuated, and Horacio was eliminated because of it. And he couldn't go. He couldn't go on, man. And dude was crying, and I felt for him. He really wanted to win, and he can't. He couldn't. He couldn't go on. And then as after all this is going on, after she's getting medically evacuated, remember they were there for a while trying to patch her up and all this stuff. She gets medically evacuated. Oh my god, and she's gone. And that is when Anissa and Jordan shows up. It's like that's how slow they were. That all this shit went down, and that's when they show up after she's already gone. And Horacio is just standing there by himself. Like with all the makeup, she was looking worse and worse every day. But this chick just always finds a way to get just I don't I don't even know how she's still alive. I mean, I don't mean from just this. I mean just in her daily life, how she's not. So one team is down, and the other team is hobbled because Anissa is lazy shit. And the two teams that I thought it would be a competition between are the only ones that are viable in this competition. And Devin and Tori have a huge lead already. So it's looking like they're probably going to win. Unless something freaky happens, they're probably going to win. I, I don't even know how to even process what I just watched. That was crazy. You got one team injuring herself because she didn't want to run and she's lazy. And another one beating herself up just from pure incompetence. This was um this was an interesting experience for me. I didn't even know how to feel at the end there. I don't even think I'm disappointed. I was amazed. It was entertaining. But god damn. Till next time.